Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ditlevson, excuse me, in response to a request for assistance from the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Defense approved the use of Fort Bliss, Texas, for transportation, detention, and removal of immigrants on military aircraft. The Fort Bliss Camp East Montana, as it's called, is fully operational and still expanding to accept up to 10,000 personnel. And there have been more than 3,000 immigrants detained at Fort Bliss at a time. The construction of the Fort Bliss detention facility was 100% funded by DOD at the cost of approximately $365 million, another debt that DHS owes to the Department of Defense in line with the chairman's questioning. But a troubling concern to me is that since it opened in August of 2025, multiple reports of abuse have been filed, including 3 deaths, one of which was ruled a homicide and is being investigated as a murder of an individual by a guard. Is the Army independently investigating these deaths that occurred at Fort Bliss, in particular the alleged murder?
Mr. Ranking Member, thank you for the chance to speak with you in an office call about these serious allegations and what has occurred at the Fort Bliss facility. I was able to look into this and get information to come back with you, and I want to say that if confirmed, this is the type of working relationship I'm committed to take feedback from this committee, from the members here, and come back with answers in a transparent and open way. Those 3 particular deaths, one was due to an accidental death, to do with the construction of the facility at the beginning. Army CID did do an investigation of that. We have not been able to get access to the report, but I defer to the Department of Army for any findings related to that particular death. For the other 2 instances, Army CID did investigate in one case, but that investigation is ongoing. That had to do with a illegal alien detained in the facility, and the second death that you're referring to, the allegation of homicide, sir, that one is with the Federal Bureau of Investigation being investigated now. So I defer to the Department of Justice and the Department of Army in those 2 particular cases.
Thank you. I appreciate your response to our meeting very much. As we all know, on Wednesday, February 11th, 2026, the FAA announced it was closing the El Paso airspace for 10 days following the deployment of one of DOD's high-energy lasers by the Customs and Border Patrol along the border with Mexico. Public reporting on this incident revealed that the Department of Defense was in the process of coordinating the use of this high-energy laser to counter UAS aircraft, but had not completed the coordination process with the Federal Aviation Administration and the Transportation Department. The FAA expressed its concerns that the use of the laser could pose, in their words, quote, a grave risk of fatalities or permanent injuries to Americans traveling through the airspace. However, in January, the Secretary of Defense approved the request to allow Customs and Border Protection to use the anti-drone laser. Public reporting also revealed that around the same time, you, in your capacity as the Principal Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Homeland Defense, personally notified the FAA's Chief Counsel of DOD's intent to operationalize the high-energy laser, telling the FAA that you knew the FAA was still conducting a review of the weapon. The rest is obvious. The question is, why did you not conclude the statutory requirement to fully coordinate with the FAA before authorizing the use of the weapon system?
Mr. Ranking Member, thank you for the chance to address this particular area because it's complex with different statutes involved in protection. The first thing I would like to say is that the Department of War always cares about safety, and we want to defend this country and defend Americans. We don't want to ever do anything that would be unsafe that would affect American lives negatively. The second is, as far as coordination requirements, in this particular situation, National Defense Area 1, under which Fort Bliss is covered, had Section 130I authorities, and I'd like to commend this particular body for expanding 130I authorities for the department, especially Senators Cotton, Gillibrand, and Senators Peter for their work on the Counter Act and the Safer Skies Act incorporated into NDAA. So in this situation, Mr. Ranking Member, the statutorily requirement for 130I authorities is to coordinate with the FAA. It does not require approval from the FAA. But I can assure you, most importantly, this system is incredibly safe. We have coordinated with the FAA for over 14 months, sharing technical data back and forth, having our scientists working with theirs so that they know the safety level of this particular system, and we continue to work together. If confirmed, Mr. Ranking Member, you have my commitment. We will continue having this great relationship with our counterparts at the FAA to ensure that our systems that are employed are absolutely safe.
Well, thank you. Just quickly, the coordination failed. When the FAA has to order an airspace closed for 10 days, particularly critical airspace like El Paso, something is wrong. Somebody made a mistake, and it may be the FAA, but I think it's critical to recognize that there was a failure in coordination, and successful coordination is required by the statute. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Reed. Senator Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to both of our gentlemen before the panel today and to your